Officials at the Department of Veterans Affairs say they have no evidence of data loss after the SolarWinds hack. President Biden signed an executive order last month to boost U.S. cyber defenses after high-level ransomware attacks. Gary Stevens is Executive Director for Information Security Policy and Strategy at the VA. Gary, welcome back. It's good to see you again. I ask this as an existential question, not to pick on VA. How does an organization, any organization, know definitively that it hasn't been subject to any particular cyber attack?
Well, I would say, Francis, how we do that is by leveraging the capabilities that we have that are used to both monitor and understand the status of the environment within an environment as complicated as the VA. So we have enhanced monitoring that monitors both east-west connections, north-south connections. We work in tandem with our partners at DHS and within the IC as well to get in front of those potential indicators of compromise, monitor for them, and then if detected, respond appropriately. And as it relates to the SolarWinds, to date, we've noticed we have no indicators of compromise associated with that SolarWinds compromise. And we continue to work in tandem with our partners at DHS, CISA specifically, to continue to monitor those events and ensure that we have as robust capabilities as possible.
This is an indicator, isn't it, of the importance of architecture? I probably heard IT architecture more over the last year than I heard it in the 5 years before that. It was a big thing. I want to say 10, 12 years ago in government IT, disappeared. It's back now, isn't it, Gary?
It absolutely is. In fact, we are leveraging both the recent executive order to look holistically across what we do from an architecture standpoint, specific in that instance relative to the EO on zero trust architectures, but also there were robust efforts already underway relative to how we bring forward services and capabilities through the cloud, as well as just how we enhance our overall cybersecurity capability, again, as an integrated partnership with our brethren over on the operations side, as well as within the business lines. It's really been crucial through those efforts to make sure that we get in front of what we need to do from a cybersecurity standpoint. And we do that by integrating with our mission partners, the business requirement, engaging in that dialogue, and making sure that cybersecurity is there where it needs to be, and that it does what it needs to do at the appropriate time to enable the business requirement.
When the EO came out, Gary, how did you read it to determine what you needed to do operationally? There's some important philosophical things in there, but you and your peers at other agencies, I imagine, saw marching orders in there too.
Absolutely, we did. Well, I would say just the EO itself helped propel a lot of the things that we were already engaged in. We've been teaming with our partners on the operations side to realize the envisioned concept of the DevSecOps model already, also with COVID and the enhanced capabilities that we were already pursuing, and the fact that COVID propelled many of those things. We've been able to leverage those as it relates to the EO. But I would say the EO is a game changer. It really brings forward the concept that cybersecurity needs to have a seat at the table. It's part of the decision-making process. And relative to that, we've engaged our counterparts both on the business side as well as internally, identified specific SES leads who are working the various sections within the EO to make sure that they are working those tasks, ensuring that we get OMB the appropriate guidance that they need and that they require consistent with the EO, and then also engaging with them to make sure that we can understand the requirements sooner and that we can take the appropriate actions accordingly. But there were a lot of things already underway in the department that were designed to really bring forward the cybersecurity requirement and make sure that it had that seat at the table so it was part of the decision-making process.
That collaboration that you're describing between your organization and the business owners in the various parts of VA, how are you driving that further down the chain? It's important, obviously, at your level, but it's also important, I imagine, 2, 3, 4, all the way down throughout all of these organizations, right?
Absolutely. Well, I would say that it starts with the secretary, and the secretary is, as he stated in his hearing, and as we've engaged him since, is 100% behind the requirement to bring cybersecurity to the forefront of the discussion. And that has transcended across the board at every leadership tier, both at the upper echelons as well as at the lower tiers as well. So we've really benefited from that, and it has really allowed us to have a unique collaborative engagement in how we look at and bring services to the veteran. And through those partnerships that have really been strengthened through COVID, but were also there before COVID, we've been really able to bring forward the requirement set and make sure that cybersecurity is being discussed, and that we have that seat at the table, but more importantly, that we make cybersecurity enable the mission.
There are a number of deadlines in the executive order, Gary. I imagine the fact that you were working on some of these issues before it came out, you had a leg up, gives you an advantage in meeting those deadlines?
Absolutely, absolutely. And then with those deadlines that we do have on the horizon, obviously we are laser focused on ensuring that we deliver consistent with those deadlines. Again, we have weekly sessions that where SES level engagement is part of that process, and that we have teams working behind the scenes to make sure that we're able to deliver consistent with those guidelines and parameters, and that we're doing it in a collaborative and organized way, right? Where we have the time through the delivery schedule to make sure that what we're putting forward is exactly consistent with what we need to do going forward on the time horizon.
Gary Stevens of the VA, thanks very much for joining me again. It's great to see you.
It's wonderful to see you as well, and thank you so much.